have been studying Proverbs, and so if you notice, the last couple of messages have been coming out of Proverbs. So this morning I want you to turn to Proverbs chapter 3. And we want to focus our attention on Proverbs chapter 3, verse 9 and 10. Where you headed? Proverbs is a wonderful book. It is a book of statements by Solomon and several other writers. And as you remember, we talked about last week in Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7, wisdom is the principal thing. And the beginning of wisdom is to acquire wisdom. Acquire to get wisdom. And in all of your getting, in all of your searching and seeking, get understanding, get insight. And so this morning we want to look in chapter 3, verse 9. Chapter 3, verse 9 of Proverbs. He says in verse 9, honor the Lord from your wealth, and from the first of all your produce. So your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will overflow with new wine. Now, if you recall our series that we've been talking about on the first of the month, has to do with Luke chapter 16, verse 10 and 11. He who is faithful over a little will be faithful over much. He who is unfaithful over a little will likewise be unfaithful over much. Verse 11 talks about who then will trust you and I with true riches. And we discovered that money is the least of all God's blessings. Is that right? Y'all remember that? Money is the ABCs of your Christian life. Money is what God uses to help us understand whether or not He's first. Now there are some believers who say, God's first in my life. He's first in everything I do. Well, I discovered for myself that my checkbook really tells the story. My bank account really tells the story about who's first in my life. So I don't have to wonder about that. I don't have to get on my knees or you know how we used to do in the Baptist church. We come and say, you know, when first of all, give first praise the Lord, and my Lord said, Jesus Christ, who's first in my life, and all that, you know. No, your money decides who's first in your life. Right. Now let me ask you a question. And it is the least of all God's blessings. So say that with me. Money is the least of all God's blessings. And you and I want to be entrusted with true riches. And we talked about true riches are those things that you and I don't even know to pray for. We don't even know how to ask God for. And when we get Him, all we do, we're overwhelmed. We say, wow. So money then is the least of all God's blessings. What would it be like if on your job as an employee, you didn't do the least that was required of you? What would happen? What if you were a wife and you didn't do the least in the house to make things happen? What if you're a husband and you didn't do the least with the family to keep sweetness in the marriage? What do you think would happen? You can answer that in your own mind. Well, you see, that is a clear picture of who and what is first in your life. And so the Bible says, riches are the least of God's blessings. The least of God's blessings. A couple things I discovered, then we have 3 points. But I discovered that money really tells a bigger story than we think. Of course, you know about the markets and all that stuff, and we're not going to spend a whole lot of time with that because we're kingdom citizens. And parenthetically, I want to invite all of you today who are here to our financial peace class on dumping debt. You know, we got a whole lot of folks who run around with their espousing how much they know about money and blah, 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 blah. Well, why aren't you teaching that? Why don't you put something together and teach about money? Well, I found somebody that did. Got a wonderful program on dumping debt. So I want to invite all of you to this afternoon at 1 o'clock, and I think we'll pray, and there might be enough spaghetti and meatball salads and all that, so I'll pray, and it'll be multiplied. Everybody at least get one piece of bread. How about that? But I think it'll be an eye-opener for you on just how important it is to get a handle on your debt. Now, this is the third class I'm teaching. And we discovered in our class that we were just $400,000 in debt. I have another class that's $560,000 in debt. There's collective debt. Not including mortgage. Just think of what it would have been like if we included mortgage. So, money is the what? The least of all God's blessings. The least of all God's blessings. We need to get that in our spirit. Money is the least of all God's blessings. And the way we can discover and determine whether God is first in our lives is our use of money. And how we spend money will determine, or our giving money will be determined by our attitude. We discovered that when we looked at 2 Corinthians chapter 9, 6 and on. We discovered God loves certain kind of giver. And we discovered when we looked at John 3:16, for God so loved the world, that's in spite of kind of love. But in 1 Corinthians, there's a because of kind of love, that God loves because we are cheerful in our giving. And we discovered that that is, we should have a good attitude as we give. We talked about, you know, most folks have the money, but they give with a bad attitude. Give this to God. Give this to this church. Giving it to that preacher. Bad attitude in our giving. And God responds to that. And our money gets funny when we have a bad attitude in our giving. But I discovered something else. That our attitude, and you've heard this before, but stay with me. Our attitude determines really our altitude, doesn't it? Yes! It determines how high we'll go in God. Some of us will never make it past Sunday school. We just won't make it. We won't make it past Sunday school understanding of who God is. And let me just say this out loud. I'm kind of tired of hearing, folk who don't give to God, finding all kinds of reasons why they shouldn't give to God. Some unbelieving soul, some no-faith person telling you and I why they shouldn't give to God, or trying to find loopholes in the Bible to indicate why they shouldn't give God a tithe. And that's strange to me. You know why it's strange? It's strange to me because they don't want to go to hell. It's strange to me because they say they've been saved. They say they've been washed in the blood of the Lamb. And yet when it comes to the basic, the kindergarten, the elementary thing, which is to be responsible in our giving, they find all kinds of reasons why they can't. Amen. And so I've said, and I'm trying to help somebody here today, I just want to be a blessing, you know that. I told